right, guys, so let's come in here. And before we move on from the last lecture, we talked about random numbers. Let's go and try to generate them here in Colab. Okay. Let's bring in a new code cell, and then we can try and create random numbers from the previous lecture. And then we can say from a normal distribution that goes with a mean of 0, and the standard deviation of 1, right? And what also we're going to have is a matrix that go by 3 by 3. And if we run this, there you go, we get the results. So as you can observe, for example, okay, so for the normal distribution, obviously you can have value that are negative, lesser than 1 and higher than 2, right? Because I think it's something that I need to specify here. So a normal distribution, something that goes like this. Say you have the mean of 0, standard deviation of 1. So you could sample values that are in here, and then those ones are less than 1, right? Values that are here are more than 1. So don't be surprised that you end up sampling values that are lesser than 1 and more, lesser than -1 and more than 1, because you can see here we have minus 1.06, the first number, 0.3, we have 2, minus 0.6, 0.6, 1.29, 0.9, we even have -3, right? So this is for this one. Then we can try NP to random and random integer. So here we're going to say for example, okay, it's, say for example, I think we need to, say for example here we want values between 4 and 12, and we want a matrix 2 by 3. Let's run it for a minute. Beautiful. All right, so we do have number. You can see the numbers are never below 4 nor higher than 12, but they are distributed in a matrix of 2 by 3. Beautiful. Okay, so this is the end of this section basically, and then we're moving on forward with what I would call, that we come here and call, let's come to number 2 here, and let's say array indexing. Our indexing. All right, so we do have our indexing here, and how does this work, right? So let's say we have created a variable called x1. The x1 is an array. Oh, sorry, it's np.array. It's numpy np array, and then here we say we want 2, 4, 5, and 3. It's an array 1D vector of four numbers, or 4 integers, and then obviously this, if you want to access some numbers from it, if you want to access something, let's say we are interested in taking out the number 4, what we could do, we could say we can access it by passing it the index that we're interested in. And if you say 0, we start with an index of 0. This, Python is going to give an output giving us the number 2, right? And then in indexing wise, this right here is index numbers, index 0. This is the first index. This one is the second, and this one is the third. So by putting 0 here, it means we want this one, which is the number 2. That's why the output here is number 2. Okay, so let's move on, and then let's try to access. Let's say if you want to access, if you want the third one, I mean the last one, you can start counting 0, 1, 2, 3, and then you say I want the third one. This Python will give you a result 3. It's just a coincidence that the last one, so 1, 2, 3, the last one corresponds to the 3. It's just a coincidence, right? Happy coincidence? Oh way. Okay. So, all right. So this is what Python's going to give you. And let's say if we come in here now, could we use negative number to index something here? And the answer is yes. By using -1, we're telling Python that normally the order goes like this. Right? Normally you go like this. You start counting from this side. But when you use number 1, you're telling Python that you are reversing. And you want to start from this point on, going this side. So, and the -1 is going to access the this one. Right, so it's starting from the first one here. So what it's going to give you as result, it's going to give you 3. Right, and this is something that we could do. So let's come in here and define this array in Google Colab. So let's come in here and say we want NP. I'm going to create our own array, for example, and then to this one we want to pass in 2, 4, 5, and 3, and then we need to define what this one is first. So let's say x1 is equal, and I come in here and say x1. If I want to take the first one, I should get the 2. Beautiful. And if I come in here, x1, and I want the index index number 3, I get the last one. And if I come in here, and I say I want x1, but I want the index -1, wait a second, to find where this -1, I should get 3. Beautiful. All right, so this is just what we did. I showed you guys here, right? And this is exactly what we're getting here in Colab. Okay, so this is so far so good. Let's move on now and go to 2D arrays. So if we say x2 is equal to np array, and then here we are going to define an array that is, let's say an array, say for example, we can define in such a way, we can say array 2, 3, and 5, 6. So this should give up a 2-dimensional array. And before we go forward, let's do it so that you can follow along. So if I come in here and I say x2 is equal to np array, and to this array I'm going to pass in 2, 3, but I also want to give in 4, 5. If I run this, oh my bad, so the data type is not understood. Yes, so I need to pass in this like this, sorry, then bring another one here. All right, beautiful. So now we have a 2-dimensional array. If I come in and I say x2, I get this. Beautiful. Okay, so that's what was missing here, and let's fix it. Okay, beautiful. Now that we have this 2-dimensional array, say for example we are interested in getting say the first number. So if we do the same thing here, we say x2, and we will pass in the first number. Which one do you think we're gonna get, right? The first row and the first column. Definitely gonna be this one here, right? Because you can imagine this, you can imagine basically this one coming in down here, right? So this one is the first one. Number 2 is the first one, and then we will get from Python number 2. Now if we come in here and say I want the number 2 and 0, this is going to give us an error because we only have 2 index. So we have index 0 and 1 in the x-axis, in the vertical axis, 0 and 1, or in the y in the column. So you cannot have index of 2. That is not acceptable. So therefore let's call 1 0. So which one is it going to be? For the first row we want index of 1, which is this one here, and for the vertical axis in the column I want 0, which is the first one, meaning there's 0, 1 here. I want this one, so it means technically I want this one. Okay, and the answer is going to be 5. Right, okay, so let's put the whole thing where it was. All right. All right, so let's do something here. Let's so far so good for the array indexing, for the let's say 1-dimensional array and 2-dimensional array. So we could also go ahead and consider slicing. How does slicing work? Slicing, you could, so let's consider x1. So consider x1, right? So let's consider x1, and then what we could do, we could access values. Normally you could, if you want to use slicing, meaning you want to access numbers that are more than one number, say for example, let's say for example I'm interested in accessing these three numbers here. Slicing is really nice because slicing, you can define a starting point, you define the end point, then you define, or instead of end, let me put stop. So you start from there, you stop here, and then you step here. Okay, so how does it work? Right, it works like this. So let me come in here and say, if I want x1, and if I say I want to start from the first index all the way to the third index, because number 2 is the third index, what I'm going to get is this, the following. I'm going to get 2, 4, 5 as an array. So maybe, let me put the exact answer that Python is going to give. Python is going to give the following. It's going to say array. So what you want is this array here, which is 2, 4, and 5. Wonderful. This is what Python is going to give you. Now, if you come in here and say, actually, I don't want this one, I want something that starts from 1 to 2. Python will give you, I hope you guys guessed it already, it's going to give you from 4 to 5. Wonderful. Now, maybe let me put these ones in color to make it a bit fancy. Okay, now let's come in here and say, we want only the numbers that go all the way, because remember here, behind the first 2 dots here, it's the stop. So you want to say, oh, actually, I want number that run all the way until the first index. And if you do that, you don't have to specify the start. What it's going to give you, let's keep the array for a moment. It's going to give you this value here. It's going to start, it's going to give you 2 and 4. All right. Consider that, this is an array, obviously, but I'm going to skip it for a minute here to go a little bit fast. All right. It's going to give you this. Or maybe should I keep it just to keep the structure the same? Okay, I'll keep it. And I can do this, and I can say array. All right, this is what it's going to give you. Now, if you come in here and say, oh, actually, I want from, let's see, I want from number 3 to whatever end it is. What it's going to give you, you're going to come and say, so what you want is from the third one, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, it's going to give you only 3. Because again, there's no more than the 4th index, which is 3. Therefore, it's going to only give you 3. And this is something that we could verify. You can go to Google Colab here and then look for x1. And then x1 here, we could say we want x1, but we want until the 2. Right, and it's going to give you 2 and 4 because it's a 0, 0, 1, 2. So actually, yeah, it goes all the way. It stopped there. And the interesting bit is that we've said we're going to stop at at number 2, meaning at index number 2, which is the third number. But what happens is that it doesn't give you the third number. It only gives you 1 and 2, meaning 2 and 4 here, but it doesn't give you the third one, which is 5. Right, so here we need to rectify. Here it's only gonna give you 2. It's only gonna give you 2, or the number 2. Talking about array here, but it's only give you the number 2, which is an array of course, but it's gonna give you the number 2. So let's even try here from 0 to 2. From 0 to 2, there's no 5, so let's correct here. It's only gonna give 2 and 4. 2 and 4. And from 1 to 2, this one, if we say here x1, 1 to 2, guess what is gonna happen? Oh, I need to put the 2 dots. So give only one number, which is the number 4. Beautiful. Right, so here it's gonna only give number 4. So my mistake. Only gonna give you number 4. Okay, wonderful. And let's try also this one here, the start. So if we say x1 and we say we want from 3 on, it's gonna give you the third one, yeah, because the start one is included. So it gives you array of 3, which is what we have here. Wonderful. All right, guys, so this is going well so far. Let's continue. So this is what is known by slicing. I can write it down here. This is known as slicing. This is known as slicing. All right, beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead now and continue also the other part of slicing. What if it said, I think we need to, what if it said we want x1, but we want this? What would we get? Really interesting, because here we're saying we want to step by 2 elements. So most likely what we get here is an array. We get 2 and 5. And you know why? Because if we zoom in here, we said we're starting from here, then from here we jump, we come to the number 5, and here we jump. If there was another number, we would have taken the number, but we only have number 2 and number 5. That's why our answer is 2 and 5 down here. All right. Let me also change the color here. Okay. Wonderful. So I have this one. Let me for a minute fix this one here. We'll try the request or the things that we would have written in Python, for example. Okay. Wonderful. We're moving forward. Now this is, I would say, all about our indexing and slicing. We could go ahead and try different versions and stuff. And you can imagine that this one is in 1D, but the same thing works in 2D, right? Because how does that work in 2D? So let's say we have x2 right here. x2 right here. Now you could literally do x2, and then you could say it comes just like that for the first one, right? You could do this. Here you're referring to the rows, so you want to access data from the rows that go from the first index to the third one, because number 2 is the third index, right? To the third one. And then if you do this, let's say 3 or even 2, let's put 2 here, that means columns, right? And then we want data that go all the way to the second index. And for this one, we would literally have, there you have 0, the first index, the second index in the row, in the row. I know in the row we would have this one and this one, and the column this one and this one. So technically you end up with the same array basically. You can try that in Google Colab. That is your homework, right? For x2, but we're not gonna do it here. We are going to move forward. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and if you want to say, let's consider, let's try also with consider x2 here. Okay, so we could access, because it's a 2D array, right? We could access element from this array by doing this. We could say we want the second index and the third one. We've done that already here, so I'm not sure if we should discuss about it. I think it's not necessary because we have already kind of like talked about it. So yeah, not necessary. All right, not necessary. Let's see. Then we can come in here and for the next lecture we can come in here and talk about other things like reshaping of arrays, for example, concatenation and splitting and stuff. That's gonna be for the next lecture. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I see you on the next lecture.